Let's do today's Minute Cryptic. Today our clue reads, lamb's clothing returned by wolf in front of goat. A sheepish exchange. I'm looking for an 8-lettered word. This is a 4-part clue, so quite scary, but let's see how far we get with our techniques. So the first thing I see is the word clothing. When you kind of think of lamb's clothing, I think you think wool. So we may need to substitute here. I think of a coat, which would be like a wool coat for humans, but also the exterior of a lamb's wool stuff. But when we're thinking about cryptics, clothing is often an indicator of meaning the outer or exterior letters of the neighbouring fodder. And the neighbouring fodder here is lamb with an apostrophe S. So we know that we need to select this, or the clothing of the lamb, which is L and B, as part of our letters for our answer. And just because I feel like we're going to be writing a lot, I'm just going to write that here for now. The next word is returned, which is of course a reversal indicator. And I feel like lamb's clothing returned makes sense together. So we're going to return LB, which gives us BL, which are, a nice couple of letters that often appear in words together. So, words I can think of here would be like blowing, bleep, blast, blimp. So there are several words that could possibly be the answer. So I'm already thinking that way. The next thing is by wolf in front of goat. Now I feel like wolf is such a random thing to add here. So I think that's definitely going to be a fodder situation, but I'm not really sure what to do because, we've got in front of goat. So I think this in front is, so this is a selection indicator of the first letter. Sorry, I'm at work, so I'm kind of distracted. It is my lunch break. Don't worry, I don't do this on company time. But if we are doing that, so we need the letter G. So we've got a G here somewhere. I'm just writing that here, BLG. And then we've got a sheepish exchange, which would be our definition. Because in this, the definition is at the beginning or the end of the clue. And obviously if we're using lamb, then the other end is a sheepish exchange. Unless it's just exchange. In front of goat. Okay, hang on. If we consider front of goat separate, so front of goat would be G, and then we've got in. So we're going to obviously put it in the clue. But if we put in the two letters in at the front of goat, we would get ing, which would make more sense. Because a lot of words are doing words and they do have ing at the end. As I said before, I think I said bleeping or something, which is a word I think of when I think of BL together. But then we need 3 letters. I feel like we're going down the right track, but I'm a bit stumped as to what these 3 letters are going to be. By wolf in front of goat. And it's definitely to do with this by wolf. Or by wolf sheepish, if exchange is the definition. By wolf. Okay, so let's think about different types of wolves. Are they a type of dog? I'm not very well versed on that. They are scary. It's an animal. I'm thinking boy who cries wolf. And then let's just read the whole clue again. Lamb's clothing returned by wolf. So the lamb's letters are, they are returned next to wolf, in front of God. So if it's by, I think it's next to. So we are kind of right where with our placement. But we need another word for wolf. Would dog go here? Bulldogging. Bulldog? No. So it's not dog. I'm just trying to think of all the words that have ing at the end, but that means sheepish exchange. I mean, you're not going to be bleeping if you're having a shy exchange. This means shy exchange. Bleeding. So we've got eeping, eating, blowing, which has nothing to do with this. Blanking. What if I was to put some of the letters? Okay, you know what? Let's get some letters. So I know this is BL, and I know that this is going to be ING. And let's use a hint, guys. Okay, we were right with E. Blessing. Okay, I'm going to try bleeping. I don't know why I have this in my head. It's not that. So now I'm thinking, lamb's clothing returned by wolf in front of goat is sheepish exchange. Let's do the scribble space. So if we're thinking wolf, we need to substitute. This is a substitution thing for sure. And we need a word that starts with E. So wolf, we're looking at nouns and verbs, etc. If we are a wolf, we are an animal. But if you're wolfing something, what are you doing? You're eating something. Is it bleating, the answer? Bleating. Wow, we got it, guys. I did need to use a hint there, but I'm really glad that we got there in the end. It seems that by wolf, they meant wolfing something down, like you'd scoff something down. This was a tough one. Satisfying, but tough. I'm annoyed that I didn't just pop the E in that I was thinking about, but bleating, I think I've never heard it in a sort of way of sheepish exchange. I've heard it in like the way that you're like, oh, you're bleating, like you're crying, or you're, wailing. So I'm curious. I will go and research what bleating actually means. Or perhaps it just means like, bar-ing, or it's like the actual word for it. But yeah, tough one today, guys. Let me know how you guys did.